I don't know. I think I first realized, I guess, how to stop doing that once I literally realized that I was putting my value in everything else other than me. And that's hard to get to a place of, even if I was homeless right now, could I still value myself? Or if I was in a bad predicament, or if I don't get these amount of views, can I still value myself? I don't necessarily even really have an answer as to how to get there. I think you just have to want to.
This is real for me. I need this. This is a therapy for me.
Before we dive in, a quick but important note. We are not licensed mental health professionals or medical experts. The conversations that we have on this podcast are based on our personal experiences, thoughts, and opinions. Nothing shared here is intended to be taken as medical advice, a diagnosis, or a substitute for professional help. If you are struggling or need support, please reach out to a qualified mental health provider or medical professional.
This is
Hi, Kaya.
Hi. Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good. I was
Yeah?
nervous to do this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You said
just
this
been
is your
nervous.
first podcast.
It is my first one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, we are so honored.
Me
to be your
too.
first.
I'm excited.
I think I originally found you a couple years ago, actually,
Oh?
on Instagram. I think I found like one of your reels or something. I was like, oh, this girl's kind of funny. Okay, cool. And then I can't remember what it was. I don't remember at all what it was. It's like, I'm just gonna like DM whoever I find. Like, you know what? I don't know. Let's just try it.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that you were able to make time to come on today.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I love talking, especially
Yeah?
when it comes to mental health and things like that. So
Okay.
thank you for having me.
Of course.
Yay.
So when it comes to mental health for you,
Mhm.
I know you said it was mostly panic disorder, depression, right? Or no?
I think my highest shooter is probably anxiety.
Anxiety. Okay.
Panic disorder comes in close second. And then I think depression is just like a whirlwind of both of those things. It affected both of those eventually. So that as well, yeah.
So when it comes to anxiety and panic, for you, what would you say is like the difference between them? Because a lot of people are like, well, panic is an anxiety disorder and stuff. For me, I have very clear differences of like what it's like to have an anxiety attack versus a panic attack.
Right.
But I want to hear kind of on your end of like how you kind of differentiate it, define it.
Well, I think off just the immediate physical responses, I think anxiety is something that's so slow built. And I can tell in my mind, like when I'm having a panic attack, I know based off of my physical actions. And when I'm having an anxiety attack, I know based off of what's going on mentally. So if I'm having anxiety, I can it's easier to talk myself down if it's just strictly anxiety. But once it's a full-fledged panic attack, it's your body's in fight or flight.
Right.
So I immediately am looking how to escape when I can't, obviously, but that's how probably I know.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's very similar to me. Like an anxiety attack is prolonged.
Yes.
So I can have an anxiety attack for 3 weeks straight.
Yeah.
It's not something, but it's like whole system shut down.
Mm.
It's not like it looks similar to depression in a way, but like I remember after I quit like the corporate world and stuff, there was such an environmental shift that I just immediately went into like anxiety, and it was just like sleeping all the time or not eating. Like my anxiety, my stomach completely shuts down, my body completely shuts down.
Yeah.
And it's like a week, 2-3 weeks. Panic is just like right then and there, just overall, like I need to get away from everything and everybody and try to like calm myself down. Do you remember when it started for you?
I was 15. I was 15. It started with like just like, again, bodily symptoms. I feel like I would sweat really, really bad, or I'd get super shaky. And then it honestly jumped from that to just full-fledged panic attacks. So
Really?
yeah. So I've been dealing with it for 7, 8 years.
Okay. Have you gone to like seek professional help for it, or is it more self right now?
I did. I was always like super against therapy growing up because I'm like I have to do it myself. I have to figure it myself. I don't like asking for help. I'm super knock-headed in that way. My grandma did try. I was raised by my grandma for the most part. So my grandma did try and put me in it. but I was very reluctant at that age. So even when I was talking to my therapist, I was like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Like, you don't go what I go through. Like, there's no way you can get it. And then because I went to a counselor, a therapist, and a psychiatrist. So all three, I dibbled and dabbled and all, and I didn't like any of them. So
gotcha.
Eventually, I just kind of stopped asking for help or seeking help, I guess, because I knew what it was at that point. This is something that my whole family struggled with, was anxiety and PTSD and panic disorder. So I was familiar with it. I just didn't know how paralyzing, I guess it would be.
That makes sense.
But yeah.
Oh man. So with the route of PTSD, obviously that usually stems from somewhere. I know that sometimes it can be a little iffy kind of getting into all of it. We've obviously talked a lot about the stuff that has affected us, but I'm kind of curious because we actually haven't talked about PTSD.
We haven't.
So you would be kind of the first to talk a little bit more about PTSD.
Yay.
I know it's kind of scary, but I'm right there with you. I'm one of the few men that will openly say, like, I've struggled with PTSD before as well. Whatever kind of abuse you can think of, I've endured. And PTSD is such like a real thing that I definitely think it needs a little bit more of a voice.
Absolutely.
So with you, what does the PTSD for you kind of look like starting off?
What it looks like, I feel like it's like I have like a mental health cocktail in my mind, and that I think PTSD is like one of the areas of the root for me, but it's hard to explain because PTSD looks like my anxiety and it looks like my depression, and it also looks like my panic disorder. It really just depends on, it's very situational. I can have a moment when I smell something that I smelled when I was younger, or a type of scenic view that looks like something that I had seen when I was younger, or even just having like a new person come into my life could trigger something. There's so many triggers, and triggers are different for everybody. But for me, I think it's just super situational in terms of what my PTSD looks like. Okay.
Where does it stem from for you?
My mom.
Okay.
My mom. We're diving right into it. Okay.
If you're okay with that, then absolutely.
No, I'm an open book. I am. It's just
okay.
Okay.
Hell yeah, let's go.
So my mom was an alcoholic when I was growing up. She started with alcohol. She wasn't the most, like, I would say, or a person who loved herself very much. She was very on and off with different men a lot of my life growing up. I don't think there was never a time where I seen her single ever. And so I do have siblings. I'm the baby of 4. And
what's the age differences?
Oof. Can I tell you something? I don't even know. I just know they're old. They're like 10, above 10 years old.
Wow.
Than me. Yeah. So I was like the baby.
Okay.
And we all have different dads. My mom was pretty active. So we have different dads, and my dad was the only one who wasn't really like in the picture. He wasn't there when I was born. I had never met him at the time. So they all had their dads to go to, which left me stuck with my mom a lot of the time. And again, with my mom being in different relationships, often it left me to see everything she was doing when she was drunk, or when she was, in arguments with her boyfriend. And there was a lot of abuse. There was times where I would watch her have to get half beaten to death, or her boyfriends would touch me and do inappropriate things, and I couldn't say anything because if I said anything, then they would threaten to kill her and things like that. Yeah. So, I mean, the book of negatives in my past is so large. I mean, especially versus the book of positives. I don't have very many, but yeah, I would say it stems from her mostly. And then I was with her back and forth majority of my life. And there was sometimes she was in jail, or I would go into the system on the weekend because she was doing something dumb and I got taken from her. Thankfully, I had my grandparents, and everyone in my family, everyone in my life knows that my grandpa mean the world to me. So my grandma would come pick me up, or she would get me out of the system, and I would stay with her on the weekends. And then I eventually would have to go back with my mom. It got to a point where my mom then started using narcotics. So it started with Norcos, and then it went to a little bit heavier substances. By that time, I was around 10 or 11. And then I got to the age of 12. She had many boyfriends, but she did have a certain boyfriend at the time. He was actually a good one. He was involved in a lot of gang activity, but he was a cool guy. He was funny.
Gang doesn't necessarily mean bad.
No, not at all. He did bad things. That is true, but he was a great person, and his heart was amazing, and he took care of the family, and he took care of me, and he actually really did try to take care of my mom too. But at the stage my mom was in, important part that I missed, she has bipolar also. So she mixing drugs, alcohol, and bipolar is really just like not the best idea. So at that point, she had just been falling down the spiral, and there was nothing that he could really do to help her. She started having episodes and anger spouts and all these things, and she ended up basically leaving him for someone else. And in that time, that was just it for me. Like, she left, and then my grandparents took me in. So I would say the leading cause of my PTSD is her, and then everything I've seen and result of her actions.
Wow.
Dang. Okay. Sorry, I'm still trying to unpack everything.
Yeah.
That was a lot more.
That was a lot.
Which, no, it's not bad. A lot of it was stuff that I was personally relating to as well. My dad has bipolar. Bipolar's actually been like the biggest
Yeah, that's
biggest
the biggest
thing on this.
conversation,
I don't
'cause I have
know.
bipolar too.
Yeah. So we've done, the first episode we ever did was her bipolar. And then we had another person on that had bipolar disorder. So we've gotten to learn a lot about bipolar
Yeah.
disorder.
That's good though.
Yeah,
It's good
which
to know
it's
about it.
between that and then like borderline personality disorder. We also had one episode with
Yeah.
that and like the similarities with that.
Mhm.
But like the mixing of substances with bipolar, I think, is another thing that a lot of people don't understand about. And obviously, I don't know if you have bipolar or not, or if that's something that you just witnessed and stuff. But the mixing is where it gets really, really, really dangerous.
Correct.
Because my dad had it too, and he was an alcoholic.
Mhm.
And for him, it was crazy because like my entire childhood, he was fine. No medication, no nothing, like completely okay. But then there was like a switch and then immediately manic episode. And then like obviously alcohol would kind of trigger it and stuff here and there. So it was like really, really bad with that. And then I relate as well to the multiple partners with my mom. I don't know how many partners my mom had.
Yeah.
It was, my mom's been married more times than I can count and has been with a lot of guys. So I could definitely relate to that. Do you have a relationship with her right now?
No, so after she went with the guy she had chosen, I guess you could say, he introduced her to angel dust, and at that point she completely like just went off the rails. So it went from angel dust to now she's doing meth and
Oh wow.
all honestly, fentanyl, anything you can think of. She's been homeless now for the last 7 years. So
Really?
the last time I seen her was 4 years ago. But I only seen her twice from her being homeless. And then after that, I just decided to not anymore.
Yeah.
Are you still close with your grandparents?
My grandpa actually just passed last year. So
I'm so sorry.
that was, oof. But my grandma, she's still here. She's alive and well, and she's doing good. She lives in my hometown. So I talk to her every day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't talk to her.
And are you close at all with siblings, or are they kind of?
I would say to an extent. My family is very dysfunctional. All of my siblings and I, we are all very traumatized, just in different ways.
Right.
So like I'm the very emotional one of my family. I've always been the one where they've been like, oh, you're so dramatic, or you're such a crybaby, or you're just too emotional, and they are very just her, and like they don't cry, and they don't believe in necessarily showing emotions too often. And that's something that I struggle with. And I think that's the reason why we're not as close as I probably would like us to be.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of addiction in that area too. My sister, she is actually in jail right now. The same thing happened with her. She has bipolar, and then she started drug abuse, and she's literally in the same exact predicament as my mom is now. So we lost one, essentially, but there's my brother he struggles with liquor and things of that nature. He has anxiety also. For him, I do think I show a little bit more empathy towards him because I know as a man, it's harder to struggle with mental illness versus a woman, and speaking openly about it and fighting it as openly as women do is definitely a task. So I do have a little bit more empathy for him, but me and him don't talk as often as we'd like. But my other sister, I also have another sister. She's great. She's pretty normal. She doesn't have anything too wrong.
She got the nice little the good hand.
Yeah, she does have a good hand. She's still crazy. Everyone in my family is crazy, but she's probably the one that I get along with the best. And then my other sister, she has a pretty stable head on her shoulders as well. She's equally as crazy. But I think for me personally, I think I'm so good at detachment. I'm so good at detachment.
Really?
And that's because I've literally cut off my own family majority of my life. So when friends are like, oh, you can't cut me off, or a partner's like, you can't, I'm like, I didn't cut off everybody. Like, it's very easy for me actually. So I love my siblings and we talk, but I think for my own sanity, you even have to separate yourself from those who are blood related to you just to keep your mind together. And also aside with PTSD, when you struggle with it so bad, even your own family can be a trigger of that. And I used to feel really bad about that growing up, that I wasn't as close with them as I'd like to be. But I think a lot of my life, I was putting my family and my mom and all these issues before myself. Right. And I got to a point in my life where I was like, okay, if me being sane and being happy and joyful means I can't talk to you, I have to distance myself from you, then that's what I'm going to do. And that doesn't mean I don't love you. That doesn't mean you're not my family or I don't respect you. It just means that I respect me more at this point of life I'm in.
No,
that's so important.
Yeah, I love that. It irritates me in the most loving way when I see a situation of like how toxic the family is. Like, it just is like, I've been able to do it myself.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things ever to do, especially with like the environment that we live in, the kind of just everything around us. Everyone is so pressuring of family, like family over everything. You shouldn't ever let anything come between you and your family. Like, he's related to you. How dare you try to do that? And for me, I'm like, I had to learn very early on that family isn't the ones who are genetically related to you. Family is the ones that you allow into your circle, the ones that support you, the ones that actually are there for you. Because, I mean, the actual family I have, like, especially my distant family, I don't know any of them. And actually it's funny. I had a conversation with my brother the other day, and we have a funeral that we're supposed to be going to at the end of the year for our great grandpa. But the thing is I was like, I don't know him though. Like, I feel so weird going to a funeral for a man that I'm supposed to be loving.
Right.
But I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. And like, my mom is like, oh yeah, he's like my grandpa. But I'm like, I don't know anyone past you though. You can't expect us to go and be connected to these people that like, I kind of have always looked at it as a two-way street. We spent our entire lives and they never reached out to us. They never bothered to create that relationship.
Correct.
And I know that people are like, oh, like, you shouldn't have the pride, like, let go of the pride and reach out and like build those relationships. I'm like, well, they had 18 years to do that while I was growing up. They had every opportunity to, hey, she has kids, let's reach out and do that, and like create these relationships, foster these things, get a reunion going. Like, I have some family on the East Coast, some family on the West Coast, so they're a little bit more separated. But I'm like, I didn't even find out until a while back that like I come from a wealthy family that just knows nothing about us. And I'm like, cool. I'm like, you guys aren't family then. We might have the same DNA, but for me, I'm like, you guys haven't proved to be family at all. I've built my own family around me.
I think it's also, I think anybody, you can be born into whatever family, but I think I'm big on faith. I'm pretty sure if you look at my content, you know that. I think that God provides us the family that we need outside of blood relations.
Right.
So I am a strong believer in that also.
I love that. Yeah, it was a tough thing for the whole family thing, because like I was always envious of all the kids around me going to school and getting picked up by two parents, or oh, this is my brother or whatever. And the amount of times I was asking my mom for a little sibling or something, like, I don't know how it happens. Just do it. Just pop one out, please.
Right.
I want a little buddy to carry around and stuff. She's like, unfortunately, the factory's kind of shut down now, so we can't do that. I'm like, dang. Now I look back, I'm like, I know the genetics. I'm glad that didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah. I got the blunt end of it. I'm glad that I got it instead of someone else. But yeah, that's family is such a hard thing to kind of get around though. And there's so much conflict and stuff that comes from that, especially when you want to love them, you want to have them around, the pressure from society to keep them around, and then just to be like, for my own sanity, I have to cut you off. Like, to kind of cut my mom off was the hardest thing I've ever done. I grew up with a single mom. I grew up with her for most of my life, and to have to leave the nest and then completely just be like, sorry, this is for my own sanity. Yeah. It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And even with my dad. And like, it's made it to where, surprisingly, I'm still very much a family man. But I tell people, like, I'm a family man without the family.
Right.
I don't have the family and stuff.
Actually, yeah.
Like, I love the idea, like, my ideal life is to have, like, my wife and kids and be able to have that whole thing. But I'm like, whoever your family is our family now. Yeah. So you're just going to adopt me into there. So have fun with that.
I definitely agree. I'm the same way.
Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know, family. I can get into family stuff for forever because that's probably the biggest thing for me. But kind of circling back to a little bit more of the PTSD and stuff. When did you kind of realize that you had PTSD? Because I know, like, at first, it's kind of like, at least for me, I didn't really recognize it as PTSD at first. I thought it was maybe just anxiety or something. And it took a lot of, like, figuring out certain triggers, figuring out certain situations of like, okay, these certain things kind of trigger it, these kind of things I can kind of control a little bit by not putting myself in these situations. But obviously there's certain things that you can't control. So I'm kind of curious for you how it got recognized as PTSD.
I'm kind of similar. I did think I just had anxiety and depression and things like that for a really long time, but I fell into psychosis. Really? Over a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now. Yeah, I was in a really bad relationship, and it started off as panic attacks and stuff, and then it just fell into psychosis. So I did reach out for help, and I was like, if I don't, I'm not going to be alive anymore. And so I called the little number on my medical card, and I was like, okay, I need help. So I got a therapist, and I basically explained to her like my whole life and everything. And one of the first things she said, she was like, Kaya, you were so traumatized. And I was like,
well, no shit.
Well, actually, no. I was like, I don't think I am. Like, because again, with growing up with siblings who like are super hard, like core and like not really emotional, I'm thinking that everything I went through is normal. Like abuse is normal, gang violence is normal, gunshots every night are normal, break-ins are like, I'm thinking all of these things. It's like, well, there's someone out there who has it worse than me. So I was never identifying it as trauma. And then when she said that, I was like, well, no, I'm not traumatized. Like I just went through things. And she was like, no, you do have like PTSD. And I was like, well, why? And then I was able to learn how and why I have it. And I think my PTSD, I think everyone's PTSD looks different.
Oh, absolutely.
But mine is definitely, I try to protect myself when I don't need to be protected. Whether that me out at a restaurant and I'm always looking at the exit door to make sure I have a way out, or I'm entering a relationship with somebody and I don't let them close to me because I am already anticipating you hurting me or breaking me or triggering me essentially. So I think that's my way of recognizing it, is just I'm always on the defense. I'm always protecting myself because nobody else did when I was younger. So that's the only person who can is really me.
I think that's a good safety net to have though. Like that's how you survive most everything. So I just don't really know like if that's a problem.
Well, that's the key word is survive, right? So I spent my whole life surviving, and even animals is a fun fact. Animals can only go so long in survival mode, and that's their natural instinct. Eventually we all have to rest. We all have a nervous system. That's its rest is essential. So PTSD and anxiety and all those things is essentially your nervous system constantly running. Have you guys seen Inside Out 2?
No,
I saw the
Okay.
first one. I was like, okay, this, like, I was so hesitant because it's a kid movie and stuff.
Mhm.
But then I was like, okay, Loki, this is actually kind of. And then the second one apparently is like anxiety and stuff comes in.
Yes. So I'm not to spoil it, but there is a part of the movie where anxiety is running around the emotion, or like the emotion sensor thing. And that's, I actually just lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
We're talking about resting.
Oh, yes. Nervous system. It's so important too. Rest your nervous system, blase. So when you're in a constant state of survival, you hit a point where then dissociation comes in, where you are surviving so much and you're having PTSD so much that your body doesn't even know how to function properly. Your nervous system is so out of whack. And that is something that my therapist did teach me, was grounding and how to calm your nervous system. Because if you don't, it's just not good. And survival is good. In the world that we live in, you do have to know how to survive and protect yourself because it's scary.
Yeah.
The world is scary. People are scary. You can't trust nobody for the most part.
Yeah.
But when you try and survive too much, it's almost like you feel like you're killing yourself slowly because you don't find joy in anything anymore. Everything is empty. You always feel like you just have this shield. And eventually you're holding the shield for so long that your arms are like, all right, hold on.
Yeah, gotta adjust a little
Kind of
bit.
getting heavy.
Yeah.
It gets heavier and heavier and you eventually have to drop it.
Yeah.
But when you drop it, now you're scared because you're open. So then you're constantly just lifting the shield back up and up and up. And who wants to live like that?
Yeah.
It's exhausting. So there is a good part of survival, but not forever, not every day, all the time. It's exhausting.
Well, coming from like, so for fun, like I'm not professional by any means, but for fun, like I've studied neurobiology and stuff just to kind of understand the chemicals that are happening and stuff with certain things like anxiety, OCD, depression stuff. And when that kind of stuff happens, cortisol, the stress hormone, is what's being released. And it's known as a stress hormone. So people look at it immediately as like the bad hormone, like, oh, lower your cortisol levels. However, it's released per your circadian rhythm. So your body excretes it no matter what every 24 hours. You can't stop it from being excreted or released, whatever the verbiage for that is. But too much of it breaks down your body. It starts to break down your immune system. It starts to break down your muscles. It starts to, like, it uses so much energy that it will break down. That's why, like, when I have anxiety, my cortisol levels are through the roof and my entire body is shut down. I feel like I'm sick. I don't have a virus or anything. I don't have a flu, but I feel like I do because my everything is just being attacked right now. And like blood pressure's high, pulse is high. Everything is just in that heightened state. So
and that's why stress can kill you.
Yeah. Like there's an actual biological component to that, like being in a constant survivor type of state. Like, yes, it's good because you're more aware of your surroundings, but being in it too long can be that much of a detriment to you because now you're just constantly, like you said, like constantly trying to hold that shield up and like your body's trying to compensate for it, trying to release whatever energy and it doesn't have. So you're trying to create energy out of nothing and trying to just like artificially put this front on and stuff. You kind of mentioned a little bit on relationships. And I know for me, with having a mom who was in relationship after relationship, one of the things that I developed was like this awful kind of relationship with men. I've never had good relationships with men, really. I've had a couple like guy best friends, but never like the guy's guy, you know, the bro, let's talk about sex and women and sports and all this kind of stuff. I never really liked that. I'm kind of curious for you with kind of going through similar stuff with your mom of how like relationships were, if it was like you were avoidant of any type of relationship for a long time, or kind of how that whole situation went.
Well, I think seeing her in so many relationships when I was younger, not too long after she left, actually, as a child, I was always seeking love. And that's because the only source of love I think I had was my grandma, but I wasn't with her very often in terms of really, really super consistent. So I was around not love. And in that, I started to look outward and to men who could provide. I never really got along with women. I have always been like and I know some girls are like, oh, I hang out with the boys, but no, like I was actually like a guy. I felt like I wore elite socks and Nike slides and basketball shorts, a hoodie with my hair up, like at the basketball court with the guys. Like I was talking about the girls with them and, oh, you like her? Like I was not like a girly girl, really. I didn't even start wearing makeup until I was like my later years. But I did start looking for love in other places. And then by the time I was 15, I had fallen in love with this guy. Well, I thought I had fallen in love, but he was 18 at the time. So I was real young. And I wasn't aware at that time that he had an addiction to opioids, but he did. And by that time, it was too late. I was 4 years in. I was getting beat all the time.
Oh, man.
It was awful. And that was the first time that I fell into psychosis, was in that relationship. So yeah. I think once I fell into psychosis in that relationship, I kind of told myself I wasn't going to try and look for love anywhere else besides myself. But I had finally left. After I got through that psychosis point, I got the strength to leave and things were great. And then I met somebody else, like literally 2-3 months later. And I fell in love with him. And also because of the lack of family I had, like my grandma I stopped staying with my grandma because I was fighting. I was getting into a lot of violent things. So my grandma was like, yeah, you're not going to be doing this under my roof, which I respect.
Yeah.
But because of that, I was living with the boyfriends I was with, and I didn't have anyone else to go to. There was no like home that I had. So I did live with my next boyfriend too, and his family. And, but in that, I was just always putting my time and my energy into a man, like just to bring me happiness and bring me that love and that fulfillment. And he ended up cheating and doing the guy thing. And I think that was the point that I finally hit where I was like, hey, yeah, like I'm done. I'm done. So I had like a 2001 Mustang. It was just like it was a shitmobile. It really was. Like the transmission was out, so it can only go like 40 miles an hour. But I slept in my car for a few months, and I would shower at the gym and I would stay with friends here and there if they would let me. And I was working 2 jobs, and I just worked my ass off every single day. And that's when I started TikTok. Yeah. I started doing motivational speaking on there, blase. And that was kind of my start of letting go of that idea that relationships can bring me the love that my mom was supposed to give me, or the love that my family was supposed to give me. And yeah.
Do you think with doing the social media and stuff, because obviously you've amassed a pretty large audience, do you think you were starting to get some of that approval from being able to grow an audience like that?
You mean like validation from the media?
Yeah, like you were seeking validation from guys or something at first, which I completely relate to. I'm such a fucking approval junkie. Like,
like on the media?
Yeah, like just being able to like have so many people following you. I'm sure you're getting lots of DMs or something, lots of comments and stuff. Was it kind of, do you think, compensating a little bit for the approval seeking? Like you were kind of getting that fix a little bit from the growth? I think
at first, within like the first 6 months, maybe, yeah, I did like the attention. I liked it a lot, but it gets old really fast because you start to learn that people don't actually want you because of who you are. They want you for this idea that they see of you on social media, or this like preconceived notion of everything you are as a person, and it's never real. So I think after 6 months, 5 to 6 months of me just getting that attention, because there was guys that I tried talking to from social media, and then it was just, I quickly learned, oh, you don't actually care about who I am at all. You care about my platform and the things that I have going on in there. So I think it died out pretty fast.
I guess that kind of goes into like a whole different sense, because we had another, I guess, influencer, you could say, that was mentioning like there's a deciphering factor now of a whole other issue with trust, of being able to, can you trust this person? Can you like, that's what happens with everyone when they become famous. Like, are you actually interested in who I am? Or like, can I trust that you're actually who you say you are? That you actually want what you say you want? You want the relationship with me. You want me instead of just that.
Mhm.
Was there a big struggle with that was starting to happen with like kind of questioning the people around you a little bit?
Absolutely. I mean, when I went up on social media, I was hearing from people who used to make fun of me. I mean, there was so many people coming out of the blue that I hadn't talked to in so long. There was even guys that I like had crushed on in high school that were in my DMs, and I was like, yeah, you guys are awful people. I can't lie. That's rude. But there was a few people that I did talk to that were just in it for the clout and things of that nature. But it's super easy to recognize also.
Yeah.
I think the background that I come from and coming from such a manipulative family, I've been trained on how to see bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when someone's talking to me, I can quickly decipher if you're with me because you actually want to know me or if you're just with me because you're putting on a front.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
That's cool. I need to learn that skill. Honestly, I just trust everybody all the time, and I always get fucked over.
I
so
wish
badly.
I could be that way.
No.
No, you
I have
don't.
to, because I have to feel the blood into that because
I know.
she'll come like, oh yeah, I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
My friends are like, "Can you stop doing that?" And I'm like, I see the best in everyone all the time.
Well, and that's not bad to see the best in everyone. Like, I would rather be able to see the best in people and give them the benefit of the doubt than to make enemies of every person around me.
Yeah,
I feel like if there was just a good
there's a
medium,
healthy middle ground.
Yeah.
because honestly, I wouldn't rather be one or the other.
Yeah.
Me personally, because I was very similar to you. I did used to be very optimistic with people's intentions, but I think once you get hurt so many times, it's like even the nicest person just gets to their wit's end.
Yeah.
So I think that's really just my case of it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even at that point of stardom, I guess you can say, but I still all the time, like I experienced it a little bit when I was, so I'm from Flagstaff. I don't know if you know Flagstaff at all, but I started a company that was like giant parties and stuff. That was like the first thing I didn't even like parties that much. It was just, I got into it. But like in high school, I wasn't like the popular kid. It was a small town, so everyone knew each other. So I knew everybody, but like weren't hanging out. But as soon as I started throwing these parties and stuff, all like the old jocks or something or old popular people would be coming to the party. Hey, what's up? What's up?
Yeah.
Dapping me up and stuff. And I'm like, you had 18 years to do this, bro. Like,
right.
Where are you coming from now? And there's also that part of like, I know where my trajectory is, and I want to be able to bring people up from the ground. But at the same time, there's like that part. It's like, okay, well, my trust issues are also kicking in of like, who's trying to use me for this versus who, like, okay, now I understand why people meet other people at the top because there's no reason to use them because it's like, oh, well, I'm wealthy too. So why would I have to borrow money from you? Or why would I have to use this? Or why would I have to do that? So I think there's like that intrinsic kind of like trust factor in like a really weird way. Man, yeah, that's definitely a lot to unpack there.
I've had that a few times too, because I don't have a huge following, but I've done quite a bit of like really cool things in my career so far, and like I would constantly have people ask me to help them, and for so long I would actually help them, and as soon as I train them properly and they get one opportunity, they just totally ghost me and stop talking to me. And like I'm huge on loyalty, and like it's just really hurtful to see like how many people just completely leave you behind as soon as they get like one step above you. And like I just can't handle that anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really
It's all
can't.
very transactional. And I
Yeah.
think that's the world we live in today.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you and you help me. And then after we're done helping each other, we're just going to move along. When actually it's not
Yeah.
even how things are supposed to be at all. It's
No.
just
Right.
social media. I think our parents were right when they were like, oh, it's those phones. It's that phone. You need to get that phone out your hand. Like
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah.
It is.
And everything is super transactional. And it's sad because when you're a good person, you do things because you're a good person, not because you're expecting anything from it. But that's not how a lot of people operate nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm assuming social media wasn't the career path that you were kind of envisioning for yourself. Or was it?
Honestly, I used to want to be an EMT.
Really?
I
did that for 6 months.
That's crazy.
Like right after high school.
I had the thought of doing it, but I dropped out of high school my junior year because of my panic attacks. So
Mm.
I never graduated high school. So, 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 I never graduated high school I wanted to do something in terms of helping people. Like I've always been super good with my words. I've always wanted to just help. That's all I've wanted to do. So I knew it was something in that range, but I had no idea that my career was going to come from my suffering. I didn't know that that was going to happen. In my panic disorder and me in the mental hospital, me trying to kill myself, me going through all these things, I didn't know that God was actually putting together the words that now I preach to the supporters that I have. And a lot of people will ask me like, oh, do you like regret going through what you went through mentally? Do you regret this? And I'm like, do I wish I didn't carry it so much? Maybe, but if it wasn't for that weight, I would never. It's just the same thing when you go to the gym and you're lifting weights and it hurts and you have to keep putting the plates on, but that's the only way you're going to have that muscle grow. So I've
had a very similar thing. I was in a group actually, and we were kind of just talking, and it was me talking to this older guy. I want to preface, just because it's going to bother me if I don't preface, I didn't actually get my EMT certification. I did the class for it, and I went through like the whole class, did all that, but I didn't actually become an EMT. I just want to preface that. I don't know how big it's going to get and be like, oh, he wasn't actually an EMT. He's such a liar. No. Anyway, I digress. But what was I? I have ADHD too, so I'll like go on these other tangents and I'm like, oh shit, where was I? Okay. What was I?
No, he was like, no, seriously, where was I? Yeah, I'm the bad person to ask about that.
The past experiences. I was talking, it was like this guy, he's probably like 40s, maybe 50s or something. And the question was asked to us, like, would we change anything that's ever happened in our lives? And he was like, yes. He said yes, but then I was like, no. I've been through every form of abuse possible, but I don't think I would be who I am today with the mentality that I have today, the situation, like everything that I've learned today, all the people I've been able to help in the ways that I've been able to help them, if I didn't go through what I had gone through. It sucks. Like, it sucks that I had to go through some of that, and it sucks that you had to go through some of that. But I think it's also like, we learn through experience. It's not something that we can like, you can't go to a lecture and hear about PTSD and understand PTSD to that personal standpoint. You have to be someone that's kind of gone through it, be able to actually relate on that personal level, which like therapy, I'm a proponent for therapy. I like therapy, but it's one of those things that I'm very picky on the therapy. It can't be like just someone who's textbook and stuff. It has to be someone that can relate to you. It has to be someone that's like, oh, I'm a therapist because I went through this, so I can relate to you on this level. And I feel like that's one of the most important things. And like therapy, for something like therapy, you're talking to a human being. So it's not, you might have to go through a handful of people to find that person that does connect with you. You might have to find someone that specializes in very specific things, or try to do your own research into like, oh, I want to try EMDR. I want to try CBT. I want to try this. I want to try that. And try to find, because some therapists don't specialize in those things. I remember I was with one therapist for the longest time. And then the second, like, it was like 8 months in, I was like, so I want to get into some of the sexual trauma. And she's like, oh, I have to kind of refer you to someone else because I don't specialize in sexual trauma. And I was like, but I commended her for being able to say that, because if she hadn't have been so honest with that, I would have been talking to someone that had no idea how to work with someone that had sexual trauma. And that's what happened when I was younger. I had OCD, and OCD is something that a lot of people don't, unless you specialize in it, it's hard to decipher that against regular anxiety disorders and stuff. So unless it is someone that can recognize this as OCD, it's just like, oh, here's some SSRIs, here's some this, you're anxiety free now. It's like, well, no, it doesn't feel like anxiety. I know what anxiety feels like. This is just like a other weird type of thing. So I think it's, I don't know, there's like a whole thing in all of that.
My question is, how do you guys get like your anxiety under control?
I'm gonna let you start with that one.
God.
It's like, how do you, when you're in it, calm down at all? Or does it just like stay until it just goes away?
I mean, my answer with where I'm at right now in life is just always going to be the Lord. But obviously the Lord blesses us with ways to cope through things. So in that answer, I always pray first whenever I feel anxious, whenever I feel worried, because I know that those aren't thoughts that I was born with. I know that's something that is coming from the enemy. So I always pray those away immediately. And if they're still lingering, I think that's when my family comes into play. You know, my best friend is someone who's been a huge part of my anchor in my journey. So I'll go to her, I'll talk to her. I journal, I sing, really just stay active. But I also think the biggest switch that I've made in terms of how I've been able to manage my anxiety so well now is I know that my anxiousness, all of the things that I deal with come from my inner child. It's because she's afraid. It's not because my adult self is afraid. It's because she recognizes something that she's not comfortable with and I need to protect her in that moment. So I will literally sit there and talk to myself like, Kylie, obviously mentally, I'll be like, Kylie, it's okay. Like, you're doing fine. It's okay. We're going to breathe. Like as if I'm actually talking to a 4 or 5-year-old. And in that, I start to calm down and my heart rate starts to slow down. And my routine is I pray, I do that, and then I pray again. And then I thank God for giving me the ability to recognize that I needed to calm myself down and that I was able to do so. But my first answer is always going to be God. Always.
Interesting.
I remember the first kind of big anxiety attacks I was having. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know like certain temperatures can also help, breathing and certain things. I was trying so many different things. Like I had it at a very young age, and it got to a point to where I'd have anxiety about having anxiety. That's kind of like the cycle that I'm in. Like it won't even be specifically triggered by something. It's triggered by what if I have anxiety right now, and then I start contemplating on the anxiety, and I'm like, oh shoot. And then for me, it affects my stomach. So I'm like, what if I puke in front of everybody?
Right.
Then like it's gonna be so embarrassing and stuff. Like I'm in front of this person and I have to be professional. What's the worst thing? And I think that's also my OCD kind of kicking in of like, what's the worst case scenario? What if that actually happens? Type of thing. And it took me a while to be able to figure out different things. And I think it's also just big thing with environment. When I was in corporate life, not only was my depression really bad, but my anxiety with having the same repetitive thing happening every day, not having something stimulating, not having like a good routine and stuff affected me so bad. Yeah. And that's why like today, like I don't think I could ever go back to a regular 9-to-5 type of job because I need that kind of ability to change my environment the way I need to, or else it just gets really bad. But I noticed it was everything else in life. Like, you can take all the medication you want, you can do everything you want, but your body itself is a vehicle. If there's one thing wrong with it, eventually other things are going to start following it.
Exactly.
So usually I start with, I kind of talk to myself in my head and I try to repeat the same thing, like, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. Everything's okay, you're fine. Nothing is wrong, you're okay. And then focusing on like breathing. I learned a little bit more about like diaphragmatic breathing, and being able to like hit that vagus nerve and stuff, being able to like breathe in so much to where you almost feel lightheaded in a weird way, giving yourself that natural high in a way. And then doing other breathing techniques, the box method, 4-4-4. So inhale 4, hold 4. But like when I'm inhaling, it's not just like inhaling. I try to like expand my stomach, really try to expand the diaphragm, exhale 4, hold 4, and kind of like do that 4 times. And so I'll try to do that because that naturally gets the heart rate down a little bit more. So I'll try to do that to kind of get the heart rate down a little bit more. And then just remembering to breathe, honestly, because I noticed that when I'm in those anxiety things,
hold your breath.
The one thing that I'm forgetting to do is breathe. I'm like, oh wait, I haven't taken a breath in like 30 seconds. Okay. And then like I tried to just do that, try to meditate a little bit on that. So it's kind of been different. There's some times to where that works, other times to where I'm like, oh shit. Okay, now it's like, because it can go from like 0 to 100 in an instant. It's not like a very gradual thing. It's not like it's like, no, it'll go and then boom, turned into a panic attack. And I'm like, fuck, okay. And then I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I'm like, my whole body's freaking out. I need to act like everything's okay because I'm in front of people, but at the same time, I know that like I'm panicking and I'm like trying to like act like I'm listening to them or something, and it can happen like big conversation too. Like it doesn't even, it used to have certain triggers, but it
Mhm.
doesn't have like certain triggers anymore. Sometimes it just happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
For your PTSD, have you been able to recognize your triggers? Like, do you know what your specific triggers are?
I think my PTSD is super relational. I think I
Yeah.
just have really, really bad relational PTSD. So honestly, anyone new who comes into my life, that's really just my trigger.
Yeah.
Honestly, I push people away a lot.
So I'm guessing you have a little bit more of an avoidant attachment style then, or is it more anxious?
I think it's a mixture of both because once I get past the avoidant, then I become anxious.
Mm.
So it's tricky. But yeah, I have a lot of guards up. It's really hard for someone to get close to me. And it's not that I want to be that way.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, I want to be hard-headed and I don't want people to love. I want love more than anything in the world. But I'm scared. It's scary. And I think when you go through your whole life getting hurt over and over and over, it gets to a point where I don't ever want to let that happen to me again.
Yeah.
And I've seen people fake it really good. There's some people who have come into my life and they seem like they're very genuine for months. And then God shows me, okay, wait, I'm going to show you this right now. And then they were actually not genuine the whole time. So I've seen every type of, messed up person there is. And because of that, it makes it even harder to try and work through my relational trauma. Because all I know is how people be bullshitting.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what people do. And especially in the world that we live in now, it's transactional.
Yeah.
People want you for one thing, and if they don't, they want you for another.
Yeah.
And I'm also not an easy person to be with, not because I want to be like, oh, I'm a lot to handle. I'm not. But I do come with residue.
Yeah.
And that is a lot for people too. I'm not a regular person.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with being a regular, normal, healthy. If you have a healthy brain, I salute you. I wish I could have that kind of some days. But when you don't have that, a lot of people are walking around so surface level. They don't know what it feels like to be broken. They don't know what it feels like to actually have trauma.
Yeah.
We live in a generation where people get traumatized off of things that are so minuscule, like very dramatic. We live in a very dramatic time. So like, oh, I seen that cat get ran over by a car. I'm literally traumatized.
Right.
Is like I feel like society we live in a lot when me and you, and probably you too, are people who actually have deep rooted childhood things that affect our day-to-day lives. And it's even scarier to then try and trust somebody. Cause I'm like, can I trust you to hold what I have?
Right.
Are you even strong enough? Like,
Right.
cause I'm the strongest person I've met in my entire life. And it even gets heavy for me.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's essentially it's hard to work past my relational trauma when all I know is relationships to be hurtful. Yeah.
Is there like times where you kind of walk away from somebody because you don't want to like push your trauma onto them?
Absolutely. Yeah. I do it all the time. I
Yeah.
think so. I don't know if that's like a me thing though. I don't know if it's because I feel like I'm not worthy of, how do I say that? I don't like to feel like a burden. So it's weird because it's like sometimes I do want to show somebody and tell somebody the things that I've been through, but I'm also like, I don't want to burden you with what I've gone through either because it already burdens me enough, So when I meet somebody, I want them to see like the good sides of me, but it's also really annoying because I can't even let them see the good side of me until I show them the bad in a way. But yeah, I do push people away. Yeah.
That's exactly how I am.
Yeah.
I tell people like the bad sides first, just like
it's like a little test.
It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Like you want to be able to you'd rather show your cards now and let them decide if they want to play it versus getting halfway through the game and they're like, oh, you know what? Actually, like this is too much. So it's a thing like that, but at the same time, you have to be careful with that kind of, I guess, trauma dumping immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let the person kind of get to know who you are before all the others. And like, I'm guilty.
Who I
of
am
it.
is my trauma.
I know.
That's my thing. Is like,
No,
like
but you can't do that. You can't.
Yeah.
Like that. That's because not to. Okay, hold on. Because I used to do that a lot, where I'd be like, "Hey, nice to meet you. I'm trauma."
Yeah,
and, and it's like I don't deserve that.
Yeah.
Like I don't. Also, me being a believer and me being a Christian, God does not want me to identify with all the things the enemy used to try and break me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now it's not necessarily I introduce myself and I'm like, let me tell you everything that I've been through, but it's just, I'm very guarded, I think, off rip. And I think that's my way of showing somebody I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
Versus I'm not like super, I'm just not very open, I think, when I first meet people. And in my way, like if me and you were talking right now and you can tell that I'm closed off, I feel in my mind, I'm like, okay, that will tell them that obviously I've been through something to make me this way, even though you guys probably have not a clue, but that's just in my mind.
I have, and I think it's a thing with people with trauma. I just have an intuition for a lot of it. Like I can kind of, it's kind of like the people that I get closest to are the ones who have been hurt the most, because there's like this weird intuition of like,
it's relatability also.
Yeah, like if someone else is closed off, I've learned I'm more than happy to open myself up, because that's how you know it's a safe environment. Like I'll come on here and like, yes, I might ask you about something, but I'm like, anything I ask you about or talk to you about, I'm 100% open to talk about myself.
Yeah.
I want you to know that it's safe. I want you to know like I'm not here to attack you. I've been the attacked. It sucks. It hurts. I wouldn't ever put that position on you. And so it sucks. You have to get past that like possibility of like this person could hurt me with this information that I give them.
I can't.
It sucks, and it's scary. It's the scariest thing in the world. But then there's like different mentalities to have with it too, knowing that like you're not the first and only person that's ever dealt with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It feels like it, and you feel like you're alone with it, but like identifying yourself with that trauma, I feel like has destroyed me more than anything. It's like anytime I was getting into a romantic relationship, and like the first day I realized that I'm just trauma dumping, like, oh yeah, I went through this. It's like, it's so much information to take on for that person. Like, yes, you want them to know who you are, but that's not who you are. That's just the experiences that have kind of developed kind of the actions and habits and stuff that you formed. Some of the most traumatized people I know have gone through certain healing, and like you wouldn't even be able to tell that were traumatized because they don't identify with it. It's like I went through it, I learned from it, and now I'm able to live the rest of my life knowing all the lessons I needed to learn from it. Instead of like, I remember in high school, that was like a big thing. Like a girl would come up and be like, oh, I'm just a big trauma case. I got daddy issues, and you just kind of have to deal with it. And like, so you're just going to define yourself as that.
Right.
You're not going to try to fix yourself. You're not going to try to build yourself. You're not going to try to, like, you're just going to accept it. And whoever gets with you has to accept the fact that you're just broken. And you're going to accept the fact that you're broken.
Right.
You're not going to try to mend the pieces back together. You're not going to try to see how to live with it in a good way. You're just going to give up like
Settle.
that. Yeah. Which I know it's much easier said than done. It's not easy to go and mend all the pieces and stuff. It's a lot of work, but I think that's how it gets fixed and stuff. When was your last relationship, if you don't mind me asking?
My last relationship, that was maybe like 5 months ago, but it was like a cute little short relationship. The one outside of that was the one probably 2 years ago was my most serious one. But the last one, the little mini one, I did actually fall in love.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got cheated on.
What do you think has kind of changed in your...
I have cheat on me on my forehead, I think. I don't know. But...
Oh, how did you guys meet?
Through a friend.
Okay.
So I met him through a friend. He came over and sparks were flying.
Yeah.
And I think I also fell in love so hard because even the last guy that I was with from 2 years ago, that was a serious relationship, but I wouldn't even consider myself to be in love with him. That was very much so attachment. The last time I've been in love was 6 years ago.
Really?
So 6 years ago, and then I meet someone a few months back where I'm like, oh, like I'm falling in love with you. That means something to me because I also know I'm knock-headed and I don't fall in love that easily. So I'm like, okay, if I fall in love with you, this means it has to be real. So yeah.
And when you were getting with this guy, did you kind of just lay it on thick, or was it kind of like you paced it out a little bit?
It was just so instantaneous. Like we just had an immediate connection. I felt like I knew him my whole life. We related in some instances, but not like, we didn't like trauma dump. It was just like little dibbles and dabbles of, oh, I've been through this and that's that. But I fell in love with him because we laughed so much. I had never laughed with so much or with someone so much in my life. Like, and I think that's the main reason I probably fell in love.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did it feel like a much different relationship than previous?
Yeah, because the chemistry was there. I felt like I was with my best friend, whom I also was in love with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's relationships are so difficult, I think, when trauma is present, regardless of which side it's on. Especially just because, like, you know how you want to react. They don't know how to take in some stuff. And I feel like it's such a, like, especially with attachment issues, like there's so much more that goes into it with like learning communication styles, learning attachment styles, learning different things like that. And I wish I learned that before I started getting into the dating thing. Because if I knew what certain attachment styles were, I could have filtered out so many people that I'm like, I'm not in love with you. You cater to this attachment style that I'm going for. You remind me of this person that I was attached for a long time. So I feel like I'm in love with you. But in reality, it's just me. The chemicals are your
trauma.
Your comfort. Your comfort to me.
Yeah.
And I feel bad, but that's just kind of like, it's our brains go for comfort. Our brains go with familiarity. Like whether it is safe or good or whatever it is, it's so hard to decipher that there's like those rose-colored glasses that get put on and you're like, oh, this is the most amazing thing in the world. But it just gets really, really difficult. How is your PTSD today? How do you deal with it today? Does it still rear its head a lot, or have you been able to?
I think, again, I don't know if you guys are even open to talking about God. I'm not sure, but that it all plays in together, because everything that I like once, like, I would honestly say suffered with in terms of mental health, with PTSD, just all the things we touched on, I gave my life to God and majority of it stopped. So I would say that there's moments now where I do have PTSD and I do have anxious moments. Like on my way here, I was anxious, but they're very momentary versus before it was like a personality trait of mine. Like I used to whenever I would meet anyone before, I would always be like, oh, like I have anxiety and I have PTSD and I have panic disorder, just be wary. Now I don't even give it attention. No, I don't, because it doesn't need it.
I feel like in that way, it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy too. Like if you just come out, I have these, you're kind of just accepting it and letting it flow instead of just like, I'm not, like, it's kind of like the power of the tongue is so powerful that if you just say, I have these, you're not giving yourself a chance to not have it, or you're not giving yourself a chance to heal from it. So if you just come out and be like, oh, I have these, then it's like, you're okay. Well, you want to find a red car, you're going to see a red car.
Exactly.
True.
Like that's kind of the way that I see it. Like if they ask, I'll say it in a relatability aspect. If someone else mentions it, like, oh, I've dealt with that.
Yeah.
I don't like to completely say like, oh, I have this, I am this. But yeah, I've dealt with it. I know exactly how you feel with it. And like I try to use in that relatability aspect, if that makes sense.
Right, it does.
So I like that though. I like that it's kind of changed. What are like the biggest things that, other than like for someone who might not be a believer or someone who might have issues with the spirituality aspect, is there like other stuff that you've done to like change your life that's made it to where like you're more at peace now, you've been able to cope a lot more with it, whether it's like routines that you've been able to develop, different lifestyle changes, or coping mechanisms that you've learned?
Well, first and foremost, I would always say try and run to the Lord. And if that's not working for you, then I would say routine is just insanely important. I think that negativity and any thoughts of stillness will do just that. It'll try and keep you still. So I think waking up, morning time is essential. And I think I would stress that to anybody going through any mental disability and any mental illness, whether it's depression, anxiety, abandonment, anything, honestly, is wake up early in the morning. And that's changed my life. And it has for the past few years. I would say 6:45, 7 a.m. Get up and eat breakfast. Breakfast is so important. And
taxed.
it's because the gut is directly attached to our nervous system.
Yeah, it's known as the second brain.
When you're not feeding your gut and giving it that, you're going to feel awful and you're not going to feel like you want to move and you're not going to feel probably the best. So waking up early, having time with yourself and journaling, recognizing how do I feel this morning? How did I wake up this morning? And if I don't feel good, how can I move along this day, making myself feel better? Not touching your phone for the first 45 minutes of the day is something
That's been a big one for me.
I've been working on that for the last few weeks. I wake up and I don't touch my phone. I do my Bible study. I eat my breakfast. And we're as humans not even supposed to be looking at a screen at all. So we've almost conformed to obviously what's going on in society, but it's not good for us and it's not healthy. So, but with the world we live in also, we have to be on our phones. Like we need them at this point. So I think carving out time to have a space for yourself and to recognize your own emotions and how you're feeling is super important. Wake up early. I mean, it literally changes lives, I think. And it's going to be hard, obviously, because there's so many people who don't do that. But I think once you get past, it takes 30 days to break or make a habit. So do that for 30 days. You wake up early and have your good breakfast and fruits and vitamins and read a good book, something, ground yourself, and then take on the day. That would be my advice.
My habits have definitely changed like that. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that sounds like a dream life that like doesn't exist for me at all.
Why?
Just because, like, for example, this movie I was just working on is overnights. So we work from like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and for like 3 weeks at a time. And so my schedule gets so screwed up. Like then the next day I have like a 5 a.m. call time and then I work until 6 p.m. that day. And then the next day is like 3 p.m. call time till 3 a.m. And so it's just hard for me to like have a routine like that.
Well, there's sometimes morning is important. And I think regardless of what career you're in, a lot of us, like there's even times where I have messed up my sleep schedule. And once it's messed up, it's really hard to even go back on one.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation in itself. But I think in general, and a routine doesn't have to mean a morning routine, right? That could even mean after you get off at 6 p.m., you go home, you put your phone down and you have a moment to yourself and you make whatever you want to make, what makes you feel good, just to carve out that time to remind yourself of this is me and I'm going to let my work have that section of my time and I'm going to let that person have my section, but I am going to prioritize my section because if you don't prioritize that, you're not going to be able to show up for anybody.
Yeah, that's so true.
So it doesn't have to be like a routine where everyone thinks routine and it's strictly morning, which I do think is important, but it could, whatever it could fit. Yeah.
I like that though.
That's nice.
Thank you. I mean, as long as you have some sort of foundation to build off of. Some people it's morning, sometimes it's night. Some people, it just depends where the foundation. It doesn't matter where the foundation is built as long as there is one. I suck at getting up super early in the morning. I was trying to do like a 30-day challenge at 6 a.m. every day. Didn't work out very well. Probably gonna try to go back to it, but we'll see. But like even like the phone first thing, that was a big thing. There's so much stimulation that happens, especially if you're going on social media the first thing in the morning, especially like all the stuff that's happening in today's world. There's just so much craziness happening. You open your eyes in the first 10 minutes, your brain's like, oh shit, hey, be unaware. There's the world's ending around you.
And that's cortisol right there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like it's your brain hasn't even woken up yet.
Yeah, and it's already like, oh, the world's ending and I've just woke up 10 minutes ago.
Right.
Okay, cool. But even like I've been working on a routine for the last like month and it's literally changed everything. It's like, it was hard for me to do the routine because like after the routine, I was like, okay, well, I don't know what I'm doing now. I'm like, well, I don't want to focus on what's going on after the routine. I want to focus on the routine itself, get my checklist done, get those endorphins going a little bit, get the natural chemicals going, get a little bit of coffee in me and kind of like, okay, let's do this. Because once the ball's rolling, is when it's easier. It's just
Right.
the initial push to get the ball rolling is what I find like the hardest. Like I'm a momentum driven person. Once the momentum is there, I can keep it going. But it's the initial push to get the momentum going that I've noticed is like the hardest part, especially when you have like depression or something. Like if you're in depression, it's so hard to get things going, or like you're in the middle of anxiety and stuff.
And I actually just made a video on that about how feelings aren't reliable. You know, I think as humans, we're not even supposed to really work as much as we do. A lot of the life that we live isn't necessarily supposed to be how it is. So you're always going to have days where you don't feel like doing things, or you don't feel like getting up, but your feelings will lie to you. Your feelings are not reliable, and your feelings are not going to fuel your dreams at all. So I think that's important to remember.
Well, I mean, your feelings, it's based off your survival mechanism. We're dopamine chasers. We want to chase the next dopamine chase. We want to chase the next thing of comfort. So we're always going to be looking for that next hit of dopamine.
Right.
And so, yeah, your feelings aren't going to be trustworthy because they're just going for the feel good.
Exactly.
And your body doesn't know what if something feels good now, it might not be the best for you later on. It just says, hey, I need this release of chemicals right now. Just give it to me right now. I don't care. Eat that cake right now. The gym can wait. Exactly. Do this. The other thing can wait. So I like that a lot. You started doing music recently.
Yeah.
What's been the journey into that? Has music been something you've always wanted to do, or is that kind of like a newer discovery for you?
I've always sang. I was singing to my grandpa when I was like 12. I would go to his room and sing Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood and Jesus Take the Wheel and all these things. I've always been like, I would always tell my grandpa when I was younger, like, I'm going to be a star one day. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to be on stages, And I think that speaking, obviously I speak for my job, but singing has been a big part of my life, and that's helped me get through a lot of my life. When my grandpa passed, my producer, Steven, he had called me that day just off a whim, and he was like, hey, like, come to the studio. And I was like, so my grandpa's dead. I don't think I can do that. But then I got off the phone and I was like, maybe I'm in my most vulnerable form right now. Maybe I can create something good. So I ended up going. And that's when I made the song God Knows. And that song means more to me than anything. And I think that's a problem with a lot of people when they release content, is they focus on how it's going to make other people feel majority of the time, how many likes or how many comments you're going to get, forgetting the fact of why they even made it in the first place. Right. And that's something that I kind of was thinking of before I dropped the song. I was like, well, what if it doesn't go viral, or if it da-da-da-da? But I made it for my grandpa, and I made it for my testimony and for me to share those words, because there's so many people who need it. The first day it dropped, this girl had DM'd me and she played it at her grandma's funeral. And that meant like the world to me. So I've always sang, and I do plan on making more music. I am a little nervous because a lot of people don't think I'm shy, but I'm actually super shy. Like, when people see my videos, I don't think they realize I'm by myself in front of the camera.
I was gonna say, when you're like, the videos that I've seen, it's just you, like, you probably set the phone up on a tripod and do your thing. Like, you're not around a shit ton of people. Right. So I'm very
shy. Yeah. But there is days where I can dance in front of hundreds of people, or I do want to sing in front of, it just depends on how I feel. But
so does that make you nervous, the fact that, like, if this music does kind of take off and stuff, that like you could be booked for gigs that you're going to be performing in front of a bunch of people, like, or do you try not to think about that too much?
I do think about it, but I think that God wouldn't put me in position for something I'm not ready for. So I think that honestly, anything to do with people, I'd be nervous. I'd be scared. I was, again, scared coming here, but I think that I can do anything. I can literally, I'm crazy like that. I really think that I could do absolutely anything, and no one can tell me otherwise.
Honestly, and you're the biggest proponent of it, like that delusional confidence is what fuels, like, the Haley, the cheerleader that we were talking to. Like, we were asking her, like, what fuels her. She's like, delusional confidence, honestly.
It's true.
And I mean, I'm sure
it's the only way that you can get anything done.
It's true.
If you're just constantly second guessing yourself, then you just don't show up. And if you're just like, yeah, I can do anything, and you show up and you do it, and you're like, okay, I did it, you know.
Well, I had that at a very young age too. It was like, it's been done before, it can be done again.
Mm-hmm.
There's someone
Yeah.
obviously lives and that's done this kind of thing. It's possible.
Yeah.
It might be a difficult path to get there, and it might be a journey.
I
but-
like the difficulty though. I'm such a like, give me the hardest way possible, and that's the way I want to take. I don't ever want
Yeah.
to take the easy way. I
Yeah.
don't. Being delusional is literally what got me everything I have.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Everyone had things to say when I first started social media.
Mhm.
One of my very close friends at the time, I had asked her if she thought that I was going to make it, and she was like, honestly, probably not. No. But I love when people doubt me. Like, I
Yes.
love when people are like, you can't do this, because I'm like, oh, you're going to be sick a year from now when I'm actually there.
Yeah.
That speaks so much to me.
Yeah.
I am so much that person that's like, please tell me that you don't think I can, because I'm that kind of person that's like, I want to give you the biggest.
It fuels me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be on that stage. Like, the amount of times like I've even told exes like, you dropped the ball. I'm gonna be on the Emmy stage accepting my Oscar award.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I dated that guy.
Yeah.
Dang, I messed
Yeah.
up or something. Like, even when I was doing Uber,
Mhm.
they would find out I'm an actor or something. And be like, oh, I remember him. I'm like, yeah, you should. Because then they'd be like, yeah, I remember when he gave me an Uber. I'm like, yeah, I went from Uber to this type of
Exactly.
thing. So,
Yeah.
which, especially when it comes to social media, it's such a hit or miss type of thing. There was another guy, I can't remember. He's like a fitness guy,
Mhm.
but I follow him, and he just recently did a video saying that like, and NF has said this in plenty of his songs, to where it's like, at first they laugh in your face until you do it, and then they're like, hey, what's up, brother, how you doing,
Mhm.
type of thing. Like, they're always gonna be laughing in your face until like his story was, he was doing it, and all of his friends were like, come on, dude, like, you're really gonna follow the influencer thing, you're really gonna make these videos, really gonna do that, until they were out to dinner and a couple people came up like, yo, I love your content, blah, 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 and he was actually getting like recognized.
Mhm.
It was the first time his friends had ever seen him get recognized, and they were like, oh shit. And he's like, yeah, this is like a thing now.
Mhm.
So, but I mean, I feel like it can fuel so many other things.
Absolutely.
Has it been, do you think, better or worse for your mental health being able to pursue social media and this kind of lifestyle as a career?
I think it's a double-edged sword.
Mm.
I think in any career you choose, it's going to take something from you. Social media is hard. I think the amount of people I've heard say like, oh, you're so lucky to be a content creator, or da-da-da-da, like, I will single-handedly say that being a content creator is one of the hardest jobs in the world.
Oh, 100%.
And it's because you don't have a boss telling you to come in at 8 o'clock or you're fired. You get to decide that for yourself. And if you
Right.
decide that for yourself, then you can fall off. There's so much discipline that comes up, like, along with being a content creator. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a lot of pressure.
Well, you're
Absolutely.
also falling victim to an algorithm.
Yeah.
You're falling victim to something that you can't control. There could be a day to where, for some reason, the Instagram gods are just like, we're just not going to push this out anymore.
Mhm.
Like, we want to start pushing this kind of content out. And then you just like, I've seen that happen with TikTok. The people that I was following 3 years ago that were at the millions of followers, I've gone back to their pages and they're getting maybe a few thousand views.
Well, I mean, and that happened to me too. There was, I mean, really up until I got to Arizona, which was 4 months ago now, I had been sitting at 1.6 million for 2 years. But that's also because I honestly stopped trying. But I think your success is defined on how much you work. And that's just, and there's going to be times where you don't see any growth for months and months and months and months. But there eventually is going to hit a point where that does hit off. There's no way you can put your time, your effort, your creativity into something for so long and get no result. There just isn't. That's not possible. And even if the result is the knowledge of what you're doing,
Right.
that's still a result. So there definitely is times where even my views aren't high or I don't get a viral video. And I used to be like, okay, I'm a failure
Right.
and that's just what it is now. But I'm trying to work on the practice of my videos don't need to hit 1 million for me to be recognized or for me to be heard. And
Yeah.
I even seen this video of, it was like a 100,000 people stadium or something like that. And the caption was like, okay, well, if there was 100,000 people here like that, they would fill up an entire stadium. And I'm
Right.
looking at it like, I have 1.7 million followers now.
Wow.
That's a
And I'm
lot.
like, wow. And I'm about to hit 500,000 on Instagram. And I'm like, wow. And again, it's reaffirming when I'm in public and I'll get recognized or people will run up to me and take pictures of me. And I'm like, okay, I know I'm doing something.
Yeah.
And I think on social media, if you do pursue social media, whatever that is in that realm, it's important to not let your peace or your validation come from likes or anything like that. It has to come from within, because I fell victim to that as well. And that's why I stopped trying on TikTok for so long, because I was just constantly seeking out a viral video of our. It's like a drug. It's like it's like a rush.
Attention is a drug.
Mm-hmm. And once you get that first million, you're like, okay, I want to shoot for 2. And then once you get 2, you want to shoot for 3. And then imagine you shoot to 10, and now all you're looking for is 15 million views on a video. So I think detaching your happiness from your job is super important. Your job can make you happy, and that's great, but leave it at that. And I think social media has taken from me in the way of like, I kind of forget how to be normal a little bit. Though there's no, I don't meet people off social media anymore in terms of even conversation or a lot of friendships. I just don't. And that's something that before, when I only had 700 followers, I could meet friends because I didn't have that attached to me. And I knew that it would probably be a little bit more genuine than it is now. So that's something it took. And there's a lot of things, but I help people every day. And that's why I do it. And yeah.
Is it harder to be limited with being able to find people like that? Because like you used to be able to find people on social media, create new friendships, new relationships. And now there's that kind of like wall that you have to hide behind with like limiting who it is. I mean, we're social creatures. We're supposed to be meeting people. We're supposed to be doing that. The concept of fame is not something that's supposed to happen with people. That's like in really old times, the only people that had the fame was the kings, the princes, the princesses, those people that are royalty and stuff, not just people that get a bunch of views on videos. And so there's a different aspect with like when you were talking about kind of like the attention drug, I remember when I first uploaded on TikTok, I got, I think like 200 views on my first video. I was like, yo, 200, like it's blowing up.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I'll have one that gets like 100,000 views. And I'm like, damn, only 100,000. It's not getting the 2 million that this other podcast got. It's not getting this. How are you able to kind of get yourself out of that mentality of being able to not look at the numbers, not perceive your value as the number that you're seeing, especially when your career is kind of oriented around it?
I think I first realized, I guess, how to stop doing that once I literally realized that I was putting my value in everything else other than me. And that's hard to get to a place of, even if I was homeless right now, could I still value myself? Or if I was in a bad predicament, or if I don't get these amount of views, can I still value myself? I don't necessarily even really have an answer as to how to get there. I think you just have to want to. I think once it's comparison is a thief. And that's something that I did a lot. I would look at other creators and be like, oh, well, they're meeting celebrities and they're doing this and they're doing that. And what is me comparing myself going to do? Because at first I thought it was going to drive me to want to go harder, when actually it just made me feel awful about the progress that I had made. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of these people that we see and that we kind of like look up to, their lives aren't even in like that in real life. They actually don't have as much money as they portray to have. And that's not even in a down talking way. It's the reality of it. Social media is not real. And that's what it comes down to. I'm not going to compare my likes to this person's life or anything like that, because half of it isn't even real. I mean, I live a whole life outside of my social media that people have no idea about. And there probably is people like, for example, I get DMs probably over 200 to 300 every single day of people saying, you inspire me so much. How are you so happy all the time? Girl, I was just depressed yesterday. But you'd have no idea because you're just comparing my life to yours. And that kind of like, once that realization set in of like, okay, I'm looking at these other people or I'm looking at my numbers and it's just also heavy. Yeah. I stopped once I realized it was too heavy. It was just, because at the end of the day, if I'm going to be successful, if I'm going to take off, if my music's going to take off, it's going to happen regardless. So why am I going to stress to try and reach to it's like a finish line almost. And that's something that I did a lot where I was like, okay, I need to do this to get here. But the destination isn't going anywhere. And would I rather run to it and get there and not be able to enjoy it? Or would I rather take a few pit stops and be okay with the lack of likes and be okay with the lack of recognition and then get to the destination and actually be able to be still in it and appreciate where I got to, if that makes sense.
Yeah. At what point do you think, and if that's if you don't already think so right now, but when it comes to just overall success and stuff, at what point do you think contentness with where you're at and your success comes in? If it hasn't already, if it has, at what point did it come in?
Like, how do I know that I'm content with my success?
Yeah, like how do you consider yourself successful?
Well, my definition of that, I think, has changed a lot through the years. Before, I would say when I make it on the red carpets and I'm at the Grammys and I'm in movies and I'm doing all these big things. Now, it's literally just being happy. Whatever that, I mean, God can take me in a direction where I'm a school teacher now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just want to be happy. And like, even my definition of rich is different. I used to want to be rich so bad. I wanted the cars and the clothes and this, that, and third. And then I got it. And once I got it and I still feel empty, I was like, oh, this isn't rich. And now my definition of rich is, do I have a solid group of people around me who I can trust? Do I have, the means to eat a good meal and have a car that gets me A to B? And because a lot of what we see rich as, if we look at a big A-list celebrity and we're like, oh, that person is so rich. They have the cars and the clothes, but when they're going through something, they can't pick up their phone and call somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think my definition has changed a lot, but how I would know I'm content in my career or my path is just by being able, I think.
Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah. Where can people find your song?
Apple Music, Spotify, all platforms, all streaming platforms.
Okay. Because I definitely want to promote that a little bit. Because I did listen to it and it's an amazing song. I love it.
Thank you.
Is there anything specifically about PTSD, panic, anxiety, anything like that that we didn't touch on that you want to make sure that there's awareness brought to or that is said?
I guess essentially my message to anyone who is going through any of those or even things that we didn't touch on, I would say just don't let your thoughts lie to you, because PTSD is going to lie to you, and depression is, and anxiety is, and the world lies to us every day. Also, we're always going to get lied to. But even though having mental illnesses and mental struggles can make you feel like happiness is not attainable anymore, or it's so hard to reach, or even sometimes some of us go through mental struggles that we forget what it feels like to even be happy.
Right.
I think it's important to remember that. Just keep holding on. And a lot of people say, oh, take things day by day. When I was in psychosis and when I was going through what I was going through, I would always take things moment by moment, minute by minute. I mean, if I made it through a minute, 59 seconds, I'd be like, okay, I can make it 59 more seconds. And if I can do that, I can make it probably another hour. And if I can do an hour, I can probably make it till tomorrow, and celebrate yourself. If you have any struggle that you're going through, every single time you wake up, you brush your teeth, you make your bed, you do something you didn't do the day before, celebrate that. Celebration isn't always the overcoming. Celebration is the going through. And I think that's important to remember, is to celebrate everything you do in the midst of your struggle, because a lot of people don't make it through their struggles. There's thousands of people who didn't wake up today because they couldn't fight anymore. They couldn't survive anymore. They couldn't be anymore. So if you're still here and you're still going and you're still being able, that is huge. And that's something to be celebrated.
I love that.
Yes.
Never mind. I end because I journal every single morning. I've made a point to end every single journaling prompt on 2 words. Keep going.
Yes.
I have it written in my bathroom. I have it written that, and then progress over perfection. those are like the two things that I live by, and I have to like look. It's first thing I see in the morning when I wake up, last thing I see when I'm going to bed. I've had people that like have a friend over, hey, I like the thing that you have written in your bathroom. I'm like, I need it.
Yeah.
I need that thing that just says keep going. There was a quote that I absolutely loved. I think it was Tom Hanks. And he was saying, this too shall pass. And that is what helped me so much.
It's true.
Whether it's good or bad, this too shall pass. If you've made it to today, you've made it through the hardest parts going through the journey already.
Yeah.
You can make it through more. So
I agree.
well, thank you so much, Kaya. This was very insightful, very amazing. I got to learn so much about you.
Likewise.
And, I want to say first a big thank you to not just coming out here. I know you're probably a very, very busy person, but for the openness and vulnerability. I know that it's not easy to talk about everything that you talked about. A lot of talking about that kind of PTSD stuff or relationships and stuff, it can kind of feel taboo or kind of feel uncomfortable to talk about. But there's so many people that relate to those specific things that I know are going to hear it and be like, oh man, like I'm so glad there's been a voice now put behind that. So I just want to say thank you for letting us connect with you, being open and vulnerable, kind of knocking the door down for us a little bit to kind of get to know who you are a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
Of course.
I enjoyed it so much.